Okay.
I could. If I wanted to, I would. I would jump through this screen.
Yeah, you would.
And I would be...
I know you would.
Oh, we're live. We're live right now.
We're talking.
Yes.
Is this an episode?
Yes,
This
hello.
is an episode of the creepy, kooky, spooky, spectacular, chiller theater, Halloween, spooktacular.
The creepy, kooky, what the heck was that?
Kooky, spooky?
Kooky, spooky. That'll be next year. We are the...
That'll be next year's.
This is the Double Creature Feature, Chiller Theater, Halloween, Spooktacular, presented by Breaking Character LARP. We are back. Last week we had our little podcast, almost an hour long of us talking about George A. Romero's classic. Well, now here we are back talking about George A. Romero's classic, which is Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, yeah. So I threw it on last night. I was actually... you know what the trouble was? I was like, they had the theatrical cut right next to the extra long cut.
Oh, boy.
And I sat on that for a minute. I was like, okay, which one do I want to watch? And I ended up going with the theatrical cut. So I don't know if you watched the extra long cut.
No,
some extra Savini scenes or something where we flesh out his biker character.
No. I just have watched the normal theatrical cut. There is also the Italian cut, which I still haven't seen, which is called like Zombie.
Yeah, I would like to see that as well.
That apparently cut out a bunch of the funny stuff, and like, yeah, let's jump right into that because this movie is definitely a weird one. But let's go through the plot. The plot of Dawn of the Dead. So it picks up immediately after Night of the Living Dead, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you're assumed to believe.
That was a joke. That was the joke.
No. Okay, but like you're assumed to believe that same type of zombie apocalypse just happened. Like you're already in the middle of it. You don't see the beginning of it. You see society's collapse.
Yes.
It's like it is happening. It is not something that has happened. It's not something that's just started to happen. Like it is going downhill. It's going downhill fast. And I really enjoy that way of starting the movie. It's like just in your face, very, very intense.
So you need to be more specific with that. So like, where do we start? Because normal action movie says that we should be starting on an action scene, and instead we start in
the newsroom. The newsroom. Yeah, no, but this was starting in the newsroom was a really smart choice because it gives the movie a chance to tell you what's happening without having to dumb it down for you and talk right to the audience of, this is what's happening, right? Like it doesn't dumb it down for you at all, but it still gives you all the information you need to know. You know how far along they are in this zombie apocalypse. You don't have to keep asking questions about it.
So from what I understand, like when he made Night of the Living Dead, it was such a big hit, and then when he came back to do Dawn of the Dead, all he had to say was, I'm making another zombie film. And, like, people came out of the woodwork. They knew exactly what he was doing. So yeah. I feel like the audience watching this movie, we don't need that scene of, like, how do you kill him? Well, you shoot him in the head. We don't need any of that.
No, you get the scene of, shoot him. Shoot him in the head.
That is so brilliant.
You already know this guy, and if you don't shoot this thing in the head, it's going to kill you.
Yes, that is the SWAT team. When whoa, we're jumping ahead. So
we're jumping ahead.
We're in Philadelphia. We're assuming we're in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
And crap has hit the fan. The newsroom's falling apart. People are yelling about the supers. Get the supers on the screen, which has the secure where the safe houses are. Like,
mm-hmm.
this is the refugee place to go. And that detail gets me. Where she's like, some of these places are knocked out. I'm not sending people to knocked out stations. The main character who is
that she actually cares. That's the real thing.
And what is the main character's name there, Kevish?
Her name is
and that is not
Francine.
Francine, good.
Yes.
Francine.
Again, I'm cheating because I've got IMDb up, but like, yeah, there aren't a lot of characters, but you don't think about their names. Flyboy is Flyboy, and Roger, does he call him Hotshot or something like that?
Stop. We are all over the freaking place.
We are.
We need to go back. Let's do the plot.
Okay.
Because we're now talking about people. We need to go back to the plot. So the plot is that this is assuming that this is of the same event that occurred before Night of the Living Dead, but that's not even necessary. We don't need that. Society is starting to collapse. Everyone knows what these things are, but they don't know how to stop it. So we pick up at a newsroom where we've got Flyboy, and of course we got Francine, Fran. She works there, and Flyboy flies the news helicopter. So
Yes.
they're bailing. They're like, we're out of here. We're leaving tonight. Get your butt on that helicopter, or I'm leaving you.
Yeah, and what I like about that was like it showed that they really were trying, but their characters basically saw like, okay, this isn't working. We got to get out of here while we can.
Yeah,
And then they knew they were taking a risk, but they're like, we just got to leave.
there's a really cool shot where there's a police officer standing nearby, like a security guard, and and the guy who's in charge, like the manager, yelling about the supers. He turns and he's like, "Stop that man!" And the cop looks and walks away, and it's like, well, that's all you need to know. We don't need a scene of him saying, even the cops are rebelling, or society is broken down. You see in this microcosm of the newsroom just how much things are falling apart.
Yeah, and that is a really cool scene. Like just everything going haywire in that scene is amazing.
It's
I just love it.
We talk a lot about George A. Romero movies as being like filmed chaos, but like this is chaotic. Like people are yelling over each other. You can't hear the dialogue, but it's perfect. It's done so perfectly that like it becomes a cacophony, like this loud noise. A cacophony of chaos.
Yes, I'll give you that.
So you don't need to know like in every individual line. People are talking over each other. They're shouting. The papers are getting thrown all over the place. Beautiful. It's a beautiful scene.
It's like how do you create that kind of chaos? Like I thought that was really perfect the way they did it.
Yes. So then we move on, and there's our beautiful jump cut where one of the newscasters guys is like the living in your own personal house is now illegal. And living in the time of coronavirus, like oh my gosh, when I watched that movie years ago, it's like, oh, that's a weird line. But now, like that we're in a global pandemic, it's like you can't even live in your own house. Things are that bad that you have to go to like a government facility for safety. And then we have a hard cut to there we are in a tenement building in Philadelphia, and the SWAT is busting in.
Yeah, and there was the other issue of apparently in that building they were keeping the zombies in the basement for reasons they don't get too specific on, but I guess some people just didn't want to, like, they still had hope. They thought it was a disease, whatever. They didn't think it was just, oh, they're just dead. So
it's highly implied that I guess most of them are Puerto Ricans or they're Catholics, because like you see a couple scenes where there's like Mary statues and candles.
Comes in.
There's the priest. Yeah. So it's like, they want to revere their dead, as we normally do in real world situations.
Respect the dead, yes.
But obviously here, it's like you can't keep the dead because they're going to come out and bite your arm off.
They get up and kill. The people they kill get up and kill.
Oh, it's so crazy. Beautiful. So let's talk about this. We have, not Ken Forey, oh my gosh. We've got Roger. Roger's assaulting the building with his squad, and again, in another brilliant move of social commentary, there is a racist SWAT cop who is just spewing
blood. Yeah,
every little thing. Just he's just cursing up a storm and calling them all sorts of bad words.
And within the first few minutes of Roger on screen, it's like you clearly see he doesn't want people to get hurt here. He's trying to do his job.
Yes,
and everything is falling apart around him.
Yes, he's a cop, but he's he shows mercy on the one guy.
Yeah, he says, "Don't go out there." The guy goes out anyway and gets shot.
Yeah, he had all intents and purposes to shoot that guy up, light him up, and he chose not to. So we already know that Roger's like a good guy, capable, very capable. But
what I like about Roger is he's sort of set up as our straight man in the movie.
Yes.
And I'll go into that more later, but like I like how he's sort of set up that way as this character who's meant to be sort of the eyes of the audience, us seeing through his eyes.
Yes.
We talked a lot about Ben in the last movie, and I feel like that's sort of the way they set it up in this movie. But again, I think it was merely a ruse, a rug to be pulled off of, to be thrown over your eyes, like
spoilers
because of what happens to him later in the movie. Yes.
Yeah.
But I like that it made it seem all the more real. But like I said, I'll get into that later in the movie.
So
when we get later to that part.
No, it's okay. Let's try to go through the plot as much as possible. I really liked Roger. The racist SWAT cop goes crazy and headshot. Again, we're spoiling the movie here, but there was a beautiful headshot where they just talk to us, Kevish, about how they did the special effects.
It is amazing.
How did they do the special effects?
Do
you remember? We talked about this like the other night.
No, did he fill a condom with blood? Was that it?
They made a fake head. They filled it with blood and meat, and then Tom Savini, who is the makeup master, took a shotgun and just blew it up. And there's a behind-the-scenes video where they talk about it, and they were like, yeah, Tom Savini's going to blow the head up with a shotgun. Come on, everybody, come look.
Oh, my God.
And they just do it, and no safety, no quartermaster on set, no nothing, just and it's brutal.
That is awesome.
It's really brutal.
The reason it is so brutal, I think, is because it's a split second. It is a very quick cut. And
the cop kicks the door down.
Yeah, the cop kicks the door down. The guy's head gets blown off, and it cuts to the woman screaming. And the fact that it is just that quick, it is just so fast. It makes it even more powerful, I think, because you don't have time to process how realistic it was or not.
Well, let's talk about this. At this point in the movie, we're like nearly 10, 15 minutes in, and we haven't seen a single zombie.
Yeah, and it's just people shooting each other.
And all the scary parts are the station collapsing because of people in disorganization, and the SWAT are killing other humans. We haven't seen a zombie. A guy's head gets blown off. Ken Foree, who is my main man.
He is awesome.
My man Peter. We're just going to call him Ken Foree. I'm not even going to call him Peter. His name is Ken Foree.
Yes.
Ken Foree is also a SWAT officer.
Yes.
And he comes in and just blows the racist guy away. and it's a weird scene because, he totally sets it up about, he's pointing at him, and then he shoots him, and then he turns around and he, points his gun at all the other SWAT officers.
You didn't see nothing.
You going to do anything about it? You going to do anything? And at the time,
he's just too cool. That's his thing.
And at the time, we don't realize that he's a black guy. So it's like, oh, a black guy killed the racist cop. But it's a weird scene because we don't know that he's head to toe in his gear. You don't even know he's black. It's just this badass just came up with a gun and blasted this loser away.
Mm-hmm.
But Ken Foree, he's yelling, "Don't go in there!" And then the cop, he looks almost like a chief of police, is yelling, "Not that room! Not that room!" Implying that they know something is up.
Yes.
So almost immediately, it's like, why are they freaking out? Why? What about that room? The door opens.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's when we first see the zombies.
And oh my God, the scene of that one zombie biting the woman. Oof. Oh geez, that is just brutal. It was whatever effect they did there was just so effective.
They have a zombie who gets loose. He goes right for a woman's shoulder and just takes a bite out of crime on that one. It is brutal.
Let me tell you about the cinematography there, something I noticed. And this was I think this was just George Romero getting better with his cinematography, but he kind of knew, the woman, she runs up and hugs the man, and the cut they use immediately after that is a cut to her holding her arms around him, but it's actually the model or whatever he bites out of. So it's you don't think about it. So when he cuts back to it again and he bites her, you've already in your head, you think that's really, her. That's how they pulled off the effect.
Yeah.
And it was so effective. It was really good.
So they show you the prosthetic before they actually do the bite. I did not notice that. And it's such a quick
cut, you don't think about that. Yeah, again, I've seen this movie probably a dozen times now, and I finally caught that. And it's one of those things I look for now whenever I'm looking at low special effects movies, because we're always looking for weird ways to do stupid shit like that. Not that we're stealing ideas from a 30-year-old movie.
30-year-old
35, 40-year-old? Jeez, yeah. It's 40. It's over 40 years old.
We did this last time. with Night of the Living Dead. We're like, it's 50 some.
Because in my head it doesn't feel like a movie that could be 50 years old, but yeah, it is over 50 years old. What do you want?
This whole scene of inside the tenement building terrifies me. When I watch this movie by myself, it's like I kind of want to skip this scene. It's that jarring for me. And I think part of it is you're in a kitchen. And it's okay, I count 3 zombies here. These guys are SWAT members. They should easily take care of these guys. And the zombies wipe the floor with these highly trained SWAT guys. That is crazy to me.
What I loved about that was like they did sort of pull it out in the end. They managed to sort of win the situation, but the one guy ends up killing himself afterwards.
Yeah, the one guy.
He's just like, it has come to this,
Yeah.
And
they lose the girl. The girl gets bit too. So like there's two casualties, and it's literally 3 or 4 SWAT guys versus 3 or 4 zombies, and they can't do it. They can't win.
They don't.
So I think that's almost. I don't know if it's super intentional or not, but it's like, in the Night of the Living Dead, everyone's like, oh, they're slow moving. How about you just outrun them? Like, how about you just walk faster than them? And this is George.
Inconsistent
that. But this is George showing like, no, here are guys who are trained to handle this, and they are having trouble handling this. So if these guys can't do it, what the heck is Flyboy gonna do? What's Flyboy and Fran gonna do?
Oh, geez. Yeah, they make Flyboy looks like such an ass, but I'll get into that. We'll save that.
Well, no, let's continue. So
let's keep rolling.
So Roger and Ken Foree become friends, and there's that scene in the basement where they pull guns on each other, and it's very Wild Westy, but they're holding M16s.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is so Wild West of like, are you gonna back down or am I gonna back down? Or are we doing this?
Are you in so and so's unit? I didn't see nothing.
I didn't see nothing.
I didn't see how he died.
Yeah.
And then they're sharing a cigarette together. Just like, yeah, we're buddies. And that scene's really fun for a variety of reasons.
Especially because when Roger comes into that scene, he pulls off his gas mask, because I guess he had to run through a part of the building that still had gas in it.
Yeah.
Like, he comes down there, pulls off his gas mask, and he just has that look in his eyes. It is just the Roger look that sells you on, like, he has seen too much today.
Oh, he's
that
already
had too much of a day. Yeah, he does it a couple times, and it's really good.
Yeah, when he does that face, I think there's a scene later where he's fighting with a zombie in the truck, and Ken Foree saves him, and he has that face of like, like he's trying to catch his breath. He's a great actor.
Yes.
Roger's a really good actor.
And I don't want to say like George Romero knew how to cast these people, not just because they were good actors, but I think he knew exactly what he wanted to get out of them.
Yes.
And I know that in one of the behind the scenes things, like the actor said, like that scene in the basement where they're shooting the zombies in the basement, like that was almost like too much for him, like he was actually disgusted by that.
Yeah.
So like like Romero sure knew how to get what he wanted out of it.
Yeah. So yeah, the priest comes up and they're like about to waste him too, and it's like, oh no, it's just a priest. The people of this tenement will not fight you anymore. And then they go through and find where all the dead have been, and yeah, they shoot them all. And again, there's that scene where Ken Foree's using his pistol, shooting away at these zombies, and then one almost gets to him and bites him because he's trying to reload under pressure.
Yeah.
So again, these SWAT guys, even Ken Foree, badass Ken Foree, is going to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to struggle with this.
And it's just like, yeah, we've seen too much shit today. And it's like when you make those, when you're making those comparisons to Vietnam for the last movie, I'm thinking some of these characters definitely had some sort of PTSD that was, that was lingering there. Because it seemed like you definitely see that in our two main police officer characters there, is like they have seen too much of the shit. And that's why running makes sense to them.
And it's just the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
It's just the beginning of the movie. So they meet up because it turns out Roger is friends with Flyboy. Mm-hmm. So he tells Ken Foree, I can run tonight. And it's such a cool line of like, I don't know why he invites Ken Foree. Is it because he recognizes that Ken Foree is strong and he's going to need help? That's certainly part of it. But they become better friends than Roger and Flyboy.
Yeah,
They team up a bunch of times and they work together throughout the film. They become best friends. So it's kind of intriguing where it's like, Flyboy kind of takes a back seat because it's like, oh no, Ken Foree is my new best friend. He's hardcore. He doesn't afraid of anything. So I like that a lot.
Those two, they have a lot of good moments together. We'll cover them as we go through them. They have some great moments together.
So they meet up at the dock. Everybody, all parties meet at the dock, where Flyboy has the news helicopter that they've stolen, and they're gonna fly out of there.
Are we gonna talk about the cigarettes?
Yes, we're going to talk about the cigarettes because I have a problem with the cigarettes.
No, I actually really liked that. It just showed that like we're being selfish
Well,
and
you
we're
gotta
only
explain
out
it.
to help ourselves.
You got to explain what the cigarettes is.
Okay, so a guy comes up, asks them all, "Hey, do any of you guys have any cigarettes?" And it's like they're taking a boat. Him and his friends are taking the boat, and our main character is taking the helicopter. And so he's like, "You got any cigarettes? Oh well, good luck." And so they all say, "No, we don't have any cigarettes." So as soon as the helicopter starts taking off, they all light up. They all pull out their
They all
cigarettes.
pull out their cigarettes.
And it's just that it is everything about that survival instinct of everyone is out for themselves at this point.
But we know these are good people still. You know, we've seen Francine, we've seen Fran, and she's you know, she refuses to put the supers on the screen if it makes good ratings. You know, she cares about people. Flyboy's a little selfish, and again, we got problems with Flyboy. But Ken Foree and Roger, they are clearly good guys. So I just find it really funny that's like, even in these moments of, these are great, nice characters who are morally incorruptible, but we're not going to give you cigarettes. Those are our cigarettes.
Yes.
They're still a little selfish. There's still that greed. That you said it's survivalistic. Like that's exactly
it is. Their survival instincts have kicked in, so there is no more us looking out for the world. It is just the four of them, and that's one thing I did want to go into a little bit. Oh, excuse me. That's something I did want to go into a little bit is once you get all four of them in the chopper, you've got the core group together, and everyone's sort of laying their cards on the table. Of you find out that Flyboy and Francine are in a relationship together. You don't know how serious that is or whatnot. You've got them asking questions about Ken Foree. So like okay, is this guy cool and everything like that. So you just start to learn about these characters, and then Ken Foree starts giving Flyboy shit. He gives him that nickname, and we're in the chopper.
And we're in the chopper. So there's the great scene flying over Pennsylvania where
they've got the Iron City.
The Iron City, yeah. I think we already have our opinions on how great that scene is.
Yeah, that I feel like it's Pittsburgh fan service. If there's a name for that, like that is definitely it. That is just all of your hometown boys making a cameo.
Dude,
the zombies are not even a threat in that scene.
Yeah. That's what's so weird. They're like, oh yeah, those Hicks down there are probably having a fun time.
Yeah, they're probably enjoying this.
It's kind of weird though, because it's like, yeah, they're doing a pretty good job until they come from behind a Jeep. Look out! And they
and they've got the army with them or something like that. Like, what is up with that?
The army brought artillery cannons.
Yeah,
they're like moving artillery around.
I don't know quite what's going on here, but they don't linger on it for very long. So
it just shows that this is it serves the scene of it needed to be that this is more than just a Philadelphia thing.
Yes, this is everywhere. Because as I believe it is a line in the movie, this is everywhere. Oh my God,
it's everywhere. So they stop and get fuel, and that's where we see our first test of Flyboy can't shoot because zombies attack the helicopter.
And I feel like Flyboy gets way too much shit. He gets so much shit for just not being good at that.
Yeah, like he's a pilot. What else is he supposed? He's already proved useful by being a pilot. Why does he have to be useful by being a gun? We have two guys who are the gun.
Yes, and
they literally dress up as cowboys later. Like
yes, okay, like Roger and Peter, Ken Foree, whatever you want to call them. The two of them are really good at what they do, and they work really well as a team, as we see later.
Yes.
And so, there's just Flyboy is the odd man out. He wants to be one of the boys.
There's a weird scene where Ken Foree is fighting a zombie. There's a zombie at the door, and then he sees Roger in the background lining up to take a shot at the zombie, and almost shoots Roger, or almost shoots Ken Foree. So Ken Foree goes up to Flyboy later, pushes him on the ground with his gun, and then points a gun in his face and is just like, "Scary, isn't it?" Or don't.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an awkward scene, but I think he's just saying hey, if I'm over there fighting a zombie, it's a bad idea.
Can you say that again? Because I think the audio got mixed up. Kevish?
Oh.
Yeah, can you say it again?
He's basically just trying. Yeah.
No, I can't. Do it again.
Are we still?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay.
Yeah, but the audio went bad.
Okay. So basically, at that point, he's basically just saying like, "Hey, if you see me over there, like it's too dangerous. Don't take that shot. Don't point a gun at me."
It's like this isn't a game.
Trigger discipline is something that Peter and Roger get. Yeah, this isn't a game. You're not just playing with your life. You're playing with mine.
Oh, you're right. That was the line.
To transpose the line.
Yeah. So let's continue. So they finally, the point of this whole movie, is there's a joke that Red Letter Media talks about. Again, which is one of my personal favorite YouTubers to watch. They have a joke about low budget B movies.
To their opinions a lot on movies.
Oh yeah. One of their lines is B movies. It's always, what do you have access to? So it's like, what did George A. Romero have access to when he made Night of the Living Dead? He had access to a cemetery that was for free and a friend's house that was going to get destroyed anyways. So we'll film a horror movie in my friend's house that's going to get destroyed and ripped down. So who cares what we do to the walls? This is a case of they have a budget, but like the guy who owns the Monroeville Mall is like, yeah, you could survive anything in here. And suddenly now we have access to the Monroeville Mall. So what's our movie going to take place in? Inside of a shopping mall. So that's it. Like, that's the whole point of this movie is they get to this mall, which for the 70s is like a shopping paradise. For us, 2020 people, malls are like falling apart. They're dying now. It's filled with Sears.
We've been there, done that. We've all been to malls in their heyday, and now they're sort of falling off. Like this was actually kind of early for the mall. The mall stereotype, essentially.
They almost, there's a line that's almost like exposition where they're like, "Oh, that was my dog." There's a line where it's like exposition where they're like, "What is it? I think it's one of those indoor shopping malls." And it's like, in case you hicks out there don't know what the heck a mall is, this is what a mall is.
And that's another thing. Like these days, everyone knows what a mall is, I guess, unless you grew up in the middle of nowhere. You know what a mall is.
Yeah, but I just like that line. It's just like,
that was exposition, but whatever. Who cares? It was so short that doesn't bother me at all.
So they get to the mall and they're like, okay, we're gonna what's the line? Hey, free lunch. So let's stop and get food and resupply, and then we're on our way. And then
and that's one of the things that I always forget about is like they didn't intend to stay there, but once they scoped the place out, they're like, hey, we could live pretty good here.
Yeah, this is a great place to lay low.
To just hole up, yeah. And so they do. They start making all these preparations to sort of just live at the mall.
There's a little bit at the beginning where there's horror because it's Ken Foree and Roger are kind of sneaking through the mall. Flyboy gets jumped by a zombie in the boiler room.
Yeah.
There's the Hare Krishna monk that almost gets Francine. So there's some horror in the beginning of like, oh my gosh, like this is still a dangerous location. But immediately that just gets thrown out the window and it's suddenly we're having a blast in the mall.
Yeah. And
we're driving trucks and we're driving cars inside the mall and we're pushing people around and we're stealing items and one-stop shopping.
And to them it's like we're not even stealing, but they're just like, well, no one else is using it.
Yeah.
We may as well use it.
Yeah, that conversation never comes up of like, hey guys, what if the owners come back? It's too late. The world is over. Let's get what we got. Let's get some things and let's get moving.
And they imply that they stayed there a couple months. Like once they decided, like, hey, we're gonna camp out here. Like, yeah, they didn't just stay there a little bit.
Yeah, no, they make up. Let's go through the preparations in defending the mall. So, in a weird turn of events, like if I made this movie today, it's like, okay, well, how would I defend the mall? Like, I don't know, I'd barricade the doors. Their solution is to go fly the helicopter to a nearby truck depot, steal and hotwire trucks, and drive the trucks to the front of the walls of the mall.
Yes.
And that's how they're going to barricade the walls. Which is brilliant, which is really smart because, like, one zombie pushing up against the wall doesn't matter. If you have, like, 1,000, it might push the walls in. So they put the trucks there, so it's like
get through. It's like, well, they're not going to do anything.
They're going to push the truck up against the wall further. That's what's going to happen. The door's going to get blocked with the truck, and the mall is secured. So that is a whole scene. And during that scene, that's when we have our first casualty of the main group.
Yeah, that scene hurts every time. And what I like about that, when I said that, Roger's your straight man, something has cracked in his head at that point. He's having a little bit too much fun going around killing zombies and doing all this stuff. And it gets the better of him. He gets bit.
Yeah, he definitely goes crazy. Even Ken Foree's like screaming at him, like, "Calm down, man, calm down." Yeah. And then he forgets his bag, his bag to hotwire another truck.
And he freaks out. Yeah. And that's another thing is like, apparently he was the only person in the group who knew how to hotwire a vehicle.
Yeah.
And like that was his skill.
Yeah, everyone's got little skills that help them.
Flyboy's the helicopter guy. Francine, well, she learned how to fly the helicopter. There was that. She learned how to shoot a gun. There was that.
Yeah.
Like she didn't want to just be that useless woman character. Like she jokes about it, like, "Oh, I would have made you guys coffee and breakfast,
but I don't have my pans."
Yeah, and she like we talk about these movies having their feminist characteristics to them, and I actually really liked that what they did with Francine there, because it's again like her and Flyboy. She's pregnant. That's something I don't think we've brought up.
No,
yet.
we haven't. Pregnant. It's revealed
and we don't even know how serious their relationship is. Like we know they're in a relationship, but they for all we know they've been together maybe 6 months.
Later on, there's a ring involved.
Yes, and
Flyboy gives her a ring, and she gives it back to him. So we know they're not married. We don't know how serious this is. You're absolutely right. They could be, one night stand of, hey, come on, we're getting the heck out of this place. It's going to hell.
They're certainly more than a one night stand. They're definitely they've definitely been in a relationship for a while.
You know what gets me with that whole thing? When Flyboy tells Ken Foree and them that she's pregnant,
she's in the other room.
She's in the other room. She totally hears the conversation, and Ken Foree goes, "Do you want to get rid of it?" And for like 1970 something, having a character in a movie be like, "Do you want to have an abortion?" Like, that is shocking. And
it knows the way.
And it reveals information about their mindset of like, we're in a survival mode. If we need to do this to make sure we survive, like, we will.
Yeah. And
and he considers it. Flyboy like thinks about it and then goes, no. Like he still has some hope. He's like, we could still somehow work this out.
Mm-hmm. And that little element of hope is a good thing in the movie.
Yeah.
That's without that, what ending do you have?
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if they did that scene? Like, that'd be horrible.
We'll get there because we're definitely going to talk about the ending.
Can we talk about? Yeah, let's
talk a little bit more about Roger.
Real quick, is it in the Dawn of the Dead remake where they have a zombie baby?
Yeah, they have a zombie baby. I
think that tells you everything you need to know about the maturity level between George A. Romero and my least favorite filmmaker ever, Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder thinks a pregnant lady and goes, "Yeah, let's have a zombie baby," and George A. Romero, devout Catholic, is pulling up legitimate questions of morality in a survival situation. I just think that two different, completely different filmmakers.
Yeah, I don't want to go too hard on Zack Snyder's remake because there were certain things that I guess I'm giving him credit for the things he didn't do that I thought would have been really stupid, but that's about it. Like that's about all the credit I can give him of like, he didn't change the parameters of like, okay, we're going into survival mode. We're staying in this mall. And like, he knew better than not to have like some bizarre plot of like someone with the cure to the zombie virus comes into the mall. God. And we have a stupid, like an even dumber plot, unfold from there. He kind of knew how to keep it macabre and not to fly off too much. Also,
is that Dead Rising? That's the plot of Dead Rising.
Yeah, Dead Rising totally does that. But again, Dead Rising
with a vaccine.
Dead Rising is a parody, if anything. Like it knew that it could go off the rails, and the players were along for the ride.
We'll talk about going off the rails
Yeah.
at the end of this movie. Holy cow!
The only other thing I'll give the Zack Snyder one credit for is their Black Cup analog badass is Ving Rhames,
Oh,
and he carries the whole movie on his shoulders. We talk about a
yeah,
guy carrying the movie on their shoulders, like that's it.
yeah.
But yeah, let's not go into the remake.
Okay,
Let's just not.
We'll keep that for another maybe
Yeah.
the sequel month or whatever.
Yeah, sequel month is fine.
Sequel month.
But yeah, like there
Let's
were things I am okay with in it. There are things I don't like about it. I'm willing to pass it over.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to repeat like from what other people have said about these movies. So like they get the mall. They've killed all the zombies. There's that really great Roger who was hurt and is now bedridden. You know, he got bit so badly that he is bedridden. He can barely shoot a gun. He can barely drive a car. He's really messed up. And they
still need him to hijack a car.
Oh yeah, but there's when they kill all the zombies, you know, he's yelling. He's like, "We did it! We won!" And it's so cool. It's like, yeah, you're right. You guys did win. And then there's the montage of like, let's have fun. They go to the bank and they take money and they're at the food. You know, they're at the supermarket.
That's where it gets a bit goofy.
They're playing in the arcade, but it's levity. It's levity before the tragedy.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I was in that arcade in the 90s. It didn't look much different than it did in the movie. Obviously the video games, like at that point they had really just rolled in some different arcade games, but it was still that arcade.
Playing
and like
DDR.
I didn't quite realize it at the time because I had maybe only seen the movie like once at that point in my life. But like, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is a place I can just go to. Again, this place is like 25 minutes away from us.
Yeah.
Like
this mall is really close to us, so we can go see it.
It is so different now, though. You wouldn't even realize it was the same place.
Yeah. So I feel like the mall was a character in of itself.
Absolutely.
There's some. I don't want to skim and go right to the ending because there's some really great scenes in the mall. The loadout at the gun store. There's a gun store in the mall. And
that is a really good scene.
And it's a cowboy movie. It's straight up a cowboy movie where they're pulling out revolvers and I think even Ken Foree puts a little Derringer, you know, right in his crotch, like that's where he stores it, right in the center.
Oh, that Derringer comes up again. Don't worry.
Yeah. In that lever action rifle, the only sucker who can miss with this is the man who's got the bread to buy it. Oh, like, brilliant line. He's got this really expensive gun, and it's just like, yeah. Clearly, Ken Foree, you know, with the whole abortion comment, like, you know, maybe he comes from a lower middle class or something, you know, and now he has access to all these things. You know, he's the one who grabs the money in the bank. He's like, you never know. He grabs the big piece of bread. Oh, I love that. They're like, oh, how about this bread? Like, oh, manja, and he pulls out the big, huge piece of bread, and it's so fun. Yeah, them having fun in the mall was great. There's what else do you want? Because I don't want to. If we go into the ending, like we're steamrolling right to absolute madness.
Yeah, I want.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about in the mall
I want to talk about before that is like, okay, ever since the truck incident where Roger gets bit, it's like he's bit. Ken Foree says something like, "I never seen anyone last more than 3 days after getting bit." So, like, even when they're having fun in the mall, there's that in the back of your head, like, okay. Roger is not fine. I think they end that scene with like a quick cut to them like holding Roger down and shooting him up with morphine.
Yeah.
And just like nothing is helping him. He's in pain. He's just, he's dying.
Yeah.
And yeah, just seeing, a character who we related to most early on in the movie be the one who got bit and is going to turn and, we're going to lose him soon. I think they made that about as strong as they possibly could.
Yeah.
They made that hit as hard as they could. And yeah, the fact that Ken Foree had to be the one to put him down, like, and the other two are in the other room watching TV and they just hear the gunshot and they know, and Flyboy just like puts his head down. He's like, he knows. Yeah. They all know.
And then they bury him in the garden.
The garden in the mall.
The garden in the mall with the fake trees and the fake mulch. That's where they bury his ass.
Like, okay, come on. I thought you were going to stop being funny, but no, this is hilarious.
Like,
It can't not be funny.
No, like I'm laughing at it because it's goofy, but when that scene is filmed, like I feel it. I'm like, man, yeah, you're right. Like he's done. And then there's a dinner. Ken Foree makes a nice dinner for Fran and Flyboy, where I think that's where Flyboy proposes to her.
Yes.
And hard cut to Ken Foree outside drinking a bottle of alcohol and pouring one out for his man. You know, like he's in pain. That was his friend. Now he's stuck with these two losers.
And they all felt it, you know, because Flyboy and Fran actually knew him. We don't know for how long they all knew each other. That is just like I said, we didn't know how long their relationship was. We don't know how long they know each other. But yeah, like he you know, those two became fast friends, as they say, and he lost him.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big loss of the movie.
There's the apathy where they're realizing that, like, what the heck are we doing in here? We have to do something now. So they start making preparations of like, okay, if we've got to leave, you know, that's when Fran learns how to fly the helicopter.
And they load up the helicopter. You see them loading up the helicopter just in case. It's got some emergency supplies in it. So you know they aren't completely screwed at the end.
Yeah, so you're, again, we mentioned this before, hopeful. It's like they could live in here and be like the zombies, or they can try to survive and do something else. So I think that's a neat scene too. And thus we come to the madness.
Because apparently the bikers they see the helicopter off top. I think it was during one of the scenes where Flyboy's teaching Fran how to fly the copter. They see the copter messing around up on the roof.
Raiders.
Yeah.
They've been living off the land, surviving this whole thing. They are a legitimate, straight up group of wild wasteland raiders. Driving motorcycles, using melee weapons of sledgehammers and fencing swords and Tommy guns.
And you use the word raiders. Let me bring like that's exactly what they plan to do to the mall. They move one truck, they go in and they grab as much as they can, and then they get out.
Yeah, when they call in on the radio, it's just like, oh, hey, we saw that whirly-bird up top there.
There's only 3 of us, and then you hear all of them yelling.
Yeah, everyone's yelling in the background. Ah! Hey, we don't like people who don't share. You know, I love that. It's a goofy scene because you have all the raiders are like sitting around being goofy idiots. But it's really intimidating because it's like it's Ken Foree, it's Flyboy, and it's Fran. 3 of them versus a literal army of these madmen on motorcycles. And the threat is real. It's like these guys are going to get killed. They're not going to survive this.
There was an absolute threat, but it was just like what gets me about it is it's actually Flyboy that kind of screws the pooch on this one. So they get into the mall. They stayed in hiding.
Yeah, so they bust into the mall, and Flyboy starts getting greedy. He's like, this is ours. We fought for this.
We did this. Yeah, this
is ours.
You know, we did all this effort, and now we're going to lose it. We're not losing it to these fuckers. So he starts shooting, and that's just where everything goes to hell.
I think it might have went to hell regardless.
Yeah,
but like, yeah,
the movie had to end somewhere.
Yeah, at that moment, now you know Flyboy and Ken Foree are now in the fight of their lives, trying to take on these raiders. And oh yeah, you said they moved the truck, so guess what else has come inside the mall? All the zombies. So at first it's a fight between humans and humans. You know, you got the raiders taking shots, and now suddenly the zombies have come in. So it's human on human versus zombies. And it is a mad rush.
It is absolute mayhem. Did you think the zombie pie fight was a little bit too over the top?
Oh yeah.
When the bikers are throwing the pies in the zombies' faces.
I'm going to allow it because you also had.
I'm going to allow it.
I'm going to allow this because there's the. Oh look, there's a heart pressure, you know, a blood pressure monitor. Let me in the middle of this fight go get my heart, you know, my blood pressure checked.
Why would he do that?
And I love that because as a kid, I would always go there. I'd be like, oh, we're at, you know, Giant Eagle. Mom's in line at the pharmacy. Let me go mess with the blood pressure machine. And Mom would always yell at me like, get out of that. That's not for you. So, like, I think it's so kiddish. It's so childish of this guy, like, you know, oh, hey, let's play with the blood pressure machine. And he does it twice. He gets yelled at, and then he comes back to it. And they're like, get out of there, man.
It is ridiculous.
So if you're gonna...
that is the point in the movie where like everything has gone off the rails. You know, no one has control of anything anymore.
It was a horror movie, and then it stopped being a horror movie, and it became drama inside the mall. And then it's action, and then immediately horror again, where the zombies overtake these raiders. These raiders get messed up.
Can we talk about how badly Flyboy gets it? Like, he gets it so bad.
I'm not gonna say he gets it the worst, but he gets it. So talk to us. How does Flyboy? Okay. How does he bite the bullet?
Well, he's shooting at the bikers, and then he tries to run away. And so he tries to get away in the elevator. And he's up top in the elevator trying to get into the vent that they have up there. And one of the bikers just literally starts shooting up there and then runs away. Flyboy is essentially, he's shot already. He keeps phoning back to Ken Forey's trying to get in touch with him on the walkie-talkie. And basically a bunch of zombies come in and get him in the elevator.
Oh,
yeah. Flyboy was going to try and come back for him, but then he picks up the walkie-talkie and he just hears Flyboy essentially getting, bit into hell.
Yeah, that scene in the elevator is intense. Like the special effects in there is really good.
My favorite part is whenever the elevator doors open again, and you just see Flyboy as a zombie now, and you just get a musical cue there, like, like holy shit, that hits hard.
And I think one of the zombies like reaches for him, and then like notices that he's a zombie too, and then they just all walk off. So Zombie Flyboy now leads the rest of the zombies to the secret hidden mall base of where they've been hiding.
Because that is like, he knows it's there. His zombie brain is telling him to go there because for some reason he wants to go there. Like, they kind of go into like, okay, why are all these people still coming to the mall?
Oh yeah,
because it's what they would have done in their lives.
This was an important place for them. This was an important place in their lives, so they're trying to go back to it. Like, that's so cool.
So like, his zombie brain is trying to take him back upstairs to Francine, supposedly.
Yeah.
Because for some reason he thinks she's important, but really he would have just eaten her if he'd gotten to her. But holy hell, him coming up the stairs is just creepy.
And it's Ken Forey. Ken Forey makes it back to Fran and shoots Flyboy.
Mm-hmm.
Kills him. Which I guess is, I don't want to call it poetic, because like they're friends. But, like, we've already seen Flyboy and him kind of in conflict, and now it's like, it's got to be,
if it's him or me, it's definitely
it's going to be Flyboy. Yeah. So Fran watches her baby daddy get blasted, and it's just like, man, that's brutal.
Yeah. And at that point, that is just incredible.
You forget that she's pregnant still during that. It's like, that's her husband. Oh, yeah. That's her, that should be her life partner, and dead.
Dead, just bam, dead. That's it.
Yep. No time to mourn. So this is the part of the movie where most people are probably going to hate it, because Ken Forey goes into his room, Fran climbs the ladder up to the helicopter, and they both are like, well, we're just going to kill ourselves. Ken Forey's going to shoot himself. You definitely
see that moment where they both contemplate it,
Yes, it's like, well, this is it, man. We're done. Ken Forey's going to shoot himself. Fran's going to put her head into the helicopter blades.
Which, okay. If they would have made that version of the movie, I don't know how I would have felt about it.
Well, apparently the version was they all killed themselves, and then the blades of the helicopter slowly stop, implying that they didn't even have enough gas to get out of there, even if they could.
Wow.
And I think that they film it? But like his friends and family were like, "Do not do this." Like they're like, "This is going to be a bad ending. You took these people, and dragged them through the mud for this whole time. Is this really how you're going to end the movie?" And,
I think it was smart to give you a little bit of hope at the end.
And it's goofy because, like, out of the blue, Ken Forey jumps up and music plays, and it's like the A-Team theme. It's like, da, 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 da,
it does sound like the A-Team theme.
And then he runs for he's punching zombies.
Yes. He suddenly becomes just action hero at this point and just runs to the helicopter. And you can't not root for him at that point, though.
Yeah.
You don't want to see them get out.
And you literally have them flying off into the sunset with like music like Like, like end of movie, we're on our horses leaving town of like, well, how far can this thing get us?
We don't have much fuel.
And that's it. They're off on another adventure. I love it.
You never know what happens to them.
And the zombies have taken over the mall with the gonk playing in the background with shots of the mall and zombies everywhere, and it's great.
And it is goofy. Yeah, that part of like, wow, I love how like the helicopter leaves and we don't follow the helicopter, like we just stay at the mall.
Yeah.
And it is just infested with zombies. Like there are no characters left here. It is just zombies.
This is the mall. This is how it was before you came, and this is how it will be after you leave.
Exactly that.
Still
yeah,
full of
and
zombies.
that is, I don't know if that's what you call symbolism, but yeah, that is certainly something.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely saying something about, consumerism and capitalism and greed. Like that's the downfall of Night of the Living Dead is people aren't working together. The downfall of this is greed.
Yeah.
Everyone is greedy. There's definitely the collapse of society, but at the minute society collapses, most of the bad decisions have been based on greed.
And everyone is out for themselves.
Yes. I mean, the core group definitely never betrays each other. They are good friends till the end.
Yeah, and that was refreshing. That would have been dumb had any of them sort of turned on the group.
I have the diamonds, They're like, who gives a crap about money? Who gives a crap about diamonds anymore? Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, zombies are stepping all over the bank, who cares? So the core group never betrays, but then it's conflicts with other groups, Mm-hmm. They could have, you said it, they could have easily hid inside their room, sat there, waited for the raiders to leave, and then they come back out and retake the mall. But no, Flyboy's greedy. He wants it for himself.
Yeah. And
the raiders
that
are
was
greedy.
His greed got him killed.
Yeah. the raiders are just stealing gold and they're stealing money and I think there's a woman who's covered head to toe in jewelry. Zombie. She's a zombie woman. And like they just grab her and she's like, ha, trying to bite them, and they're just grabbing rings off her fingers. Mm-hmm. It's just like, what are they going to do with this?
They're just looting.
They steal a TV and he's like, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to watch on it? Yeah, you're right. And he smashes the TV. She's like, what are you stealing this stuff for? Taking the food, taking, useful supplies like the guns, like that's important stuff. But it's like, they're clearly, obviously always shown stealing useless things. Expensive clothes, expensive jewelry, money.
That's the whole consumerism thing you're talking about. It's like they grab these things because these are the things that were always worth something to them before.
Yes.
So, like, I guess that is just a part of like the whole survivalist thing. You still want to have stuff.
Yes.
I guess. I don't know how else to say it. But yeah.
No, you're right. Like, they want stuff, but it's like, what stuff are they looking for? They're obviously getting the bad stuff. They're
mm-hmm.
not looking for survival gear. So that's Dawn of the Dead. One of the weirdest zombie films you're ever going to see.
I still say that it is the best zombie. It is my favorite zombie movie. Like, hands down.
I will not lie. When we watched Night of the Living Dead, it was kind of like I've seen Night of the Living Dead way more times. There was at one point where I was watching it twice every Halloween. So like I'm kind of like, yeah, I could take a step back from that movie. But yeah. Dawn of the Dead it hits me in all the right spots of it's goofy, it's scary, it's terrifying, it's funny, there's great lines to quote. What lines can you quote from Night of the Living Dead? They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah, that's the line. They're coming to get you, Barbara. But for a character who's on screen for less than 5 minutes.
And how many times do we quote Dawn of the Dead? We got this, man.
By the ass.
We got this by the ass.
You're not just playing with your life, you're playing with mine.
I could run. There's so many.
Yeah.
Look, they got trucks. Yeah, trucks. Tom Savini and his little, like, stupid pal who just repeats everything. Yeah, I'm all. Yeah, I'm all.
Yeah, I like those characters, too. To sort of lead into our next video, like...
we're not done yet. We're not done talking about...
bikers. Well, I'm just saying, all those bikers and stuff, that's probably where they got the idea for the next movie. They're like, hey, we can do something with motorcycles for our next movie. I don't know. This was pretty fun.
Yeah. and Flyboy comes back. No, not Flyboy. Roger is in Knight Riders.
Roger and Ken
Forey's in Knight Riders, and of course Tom Savini's in Knight Riders.
Yes, and Tom Savini plays kind of a main character in Knight Riders.
Yes, I would say like third character. Like if we're listing the important characters, he's like number 3.
Yeah.
But so we gushed before about Tom Savini not even appearing in Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him now. Let's talk about his special effects.
I'm glad that he actually had a character in Dawn of the Dead. His special effects in this movie were really good. And it's just whether it's just the blood or the guts in certain places. The one scene towards the end where one of the bikers is getting his guts ripped out, just such a good scene.
Yes,
such an amazing scene. It looks so real.
He did the stunts. He was on a motorcycle and got knocked off. He did a Tarzan man swing down, and
and that was a Tuesday for this guy. He probably did those both in the same night.
Yeah.
And knowing him,
his character is really fun. Blades. I think he's Blades
because he has a machete and
he's got a machete.
Zombie hands.
Yeah, he's got a machete and he's got a fencing sword, which apparently he did in high school. He was a fencer.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, but talk about a man of many talents.
The Tom Savini character is all coming together here.
Yeah, it's like he's combat veteran and photographer and special effects artist and fencer. And rides a motorcycle. It's just like, what else can he do? Well, I can make a lot of pies, George. Do you think you can use pies in any scenes?
God.
Now that you mention it. A big pie fight planned.
Yeah, and that was just the movie balancing its comedy with its tragedy and its horror. What do you want? It does that. It definitely does that.
Well, yeah, because one scene you have these characters smashing pies over the heads, smashing zombies in the face with pies. Hard cut to 5 minutes later, one of those guys is getting their guts ripped out. Yes. One of my favorite shots, if we're talking about dismemberment of people, is I don't think it's Tom Savini. I forget which character it is. He's got a Tommy gun, and he's like the last biker out of the mall. The bikers have retreated, and Ken Forey's hanging out of a vent with his sniper rifle, and he shoots him, and he flies off the bike, and he's wounded on the arm, and he starts spraying this machine gun at the zombies, but they're all behind him, and they just grab him. And it's like, that is so cool. That was such a great shot.
That was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Ugh.
How about the zombie in the swimming suit?
Well, it sure was convenient that he fell in the water.
Apparently it was freezing cold. They filmed that movie in the middle of winter. So that poor guy was walking around Pittsburgh winter wearing a bathing suit.
I love it.
Bless him.
That would have been me. If they were filming another movie like that, I would volunteer to be an extra. I would absolutely be there.
I think that's what some people might say, like, oh, that's stupid and that's goofy. But I feel like that is one of the charms of zombie movies, because I think it's in Day of the Dead where there is a zombie clown, and it's just like, what's his background? Like, what's his backstory? Was he at a party and then got killed and just like never got out of his clown outfit?
We'll never know.
So it's like this guy in the bathing suit. It's like, what happened to him? There's a nun running around at one point. And apparently Fran was supposed to shoot it. And on the day of shooting, when they were filming the scene, George walked up to her and just like, how about Fran, you just let her go?
How about we don't shoot a nun in this movie? We've got enough things going on.
Let's not shoot a nun. So I love how he has lines where it's like, we'll include abortion and we'll include all these discussions on religion and we'll have these religious figures, but I'll be damned if I shoot a nun on camera. I could have a priest burn himself to death in The Crazies, but his Catholic schoolboy upbringing is just like, Sister Mary Claire, can't burn her. Like, nope, you get away.
Maybe don't do this.
Yeah, don't do this. No.
You draw the line somewhere.
And
the movie still was unrated. That was kind of wild.
Yeah, there's baseball players. We talked about this before, but my aunt's in it. She plays a zombie.
I specifically remembered to point that scene, like, I did a mental note of like, oh, this is the scene where Roy's aunt gets killed.
Yeah, she
Like-
and she gets blasted in the face. She has a squib on her head, and it's just like, my aunt at the time was a young girl who had very few acting credits, and George A was just like, yeah, put a squib on her head, that'll be great. And apparently her friend gets dragged behind the car. When they're driving the car around, Roger shoots her in the head. So like, she just got dragged behind a car. Like, she doesn't have her name in the credits. It's just, yeah, go ahead, it's fine. You'll be okay with this. Just I love it. Just that filmmaking style of we'll do it. We'll do it and then ask permission later,
Yeah. It is just it is that sort of just wild filmmaking of like, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. What? The guy who runs Monroeville Mall is like, sure, George, you can film a zombie movie in here. Just make sure you clean up after yourself. And they have an explosion that blows out windows in the mall. The Raiders do that. They're driving motorcycles around the mall. They're driving a car around the mall. They had free reign of this place, and like, no one checked on them. Apparently they were just like, yeah, here's the keys, go do it.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. Was just like, okay, they just every stupid thing that they could do, they did.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's a complete mess.
Because we were talking about Dead Rising a little bit earlier, but like, this movie I think it inspired a lot of people to like that situation. It makes you think a lot of things. Like, it inspired a remake. It inspired a video game that there had to be a disclaimer on the front of the box of Dead Rising. It has no affiliation with Dawn of the Dead because they didn't want to actually have to give him any money when they made this video game.
Yeah, poor George. Just like, give him his money, man. Come on.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that with Night of the Living Dead. It's public domain. Like, I could put that movie on YouTube and no one's gonna stop me.
It's already there.
He didn't. He didn't make any money there. It's sad.
But what's weird is Dawn of the Dead, both versions actually, maybe even the third version, are also on YouTube for free. Just watch them. So
shush.
Don't once you're done listening to us, just type in Dawn of the Dead, go watch it. It's a good movie, in my opinion. It's the best zombie movie. So go see it.
Yeah, I feel like we're nearing our hour mark if we haven't already hit it, and I could talk about this movie longer. Me too. But at that point, we're just sitting there going, "Oh, my favorite scene is this." Yeah, how about that scene? Isn't that scene funny? Like, I don't have as much commentary for this one. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean. One thing I will say is, watching the theatrical version of this, I knew it was just a 2-hour movie. Bam, yeah. No big deal there. But like, it wraps up everything it needs to pretty tightly, in that 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It doesn't feel too long. It doesn't feel too short. It works really well as a movie.
I think I'm gonna have trouble talking about Day of the Dead, honestly, because I hate almost all the characters in Day of the Dead.
Oof.
It's similar. It's a small cast of characters. They're also locked into a location, but I just feel like those characters are tired. They are, like, you see the end. They are not going to make it much longer. And Day of the Dead, or Dawn of the Dead, definitely has that hope. There's definitely that, like, oh, we can still make it. We've made it this far. Maybe we just need to just keep going. Yeah, we'll keep moving. So I like that hopefulness. When I finish Dawn of the Dead, there's parts that gross me out, and I do get creeped out, and I don't want to go into my basement for a while. But like, I leave that movie feeling like, yeah, that was fun. I have fun watching Dawn of the Dead. When I watch Night of the Living Dead, I feel creeped out, but like, I'm not cheering at the screen. I'm not hooting and hollering because Tom Savini cut a zombie's fingers off,
which was really cool.
Yeah, I'm not hooting with Roger, or not Roger. Roger. Yeah. Because now I'm like, God, these names: Flyboy, Roger, Ken Foree, geez Louise. I don't cheer. I watch Dawn of the Dead. I watch Night. I watch Dawn of the Dead, and it's just like, ew. Wait, no, Dawn of the Dead. Day of the Dead. Jeez, I did it again.
You're getting them mixed up.
I did it again. When I watch Day of the Dead, I'm just like, ew, gross, ugh. I feel depressed. The world sucks. And I watch Dawn of the Dead, and I have a blast.
I'm gonna give Day of the Dead another chance.
We should watch it together this time.
What?
I watched it by myself every time I've seen it. I've only seen it by myself.
Okay, so maybe if we watch it as a group.
Yeah, we should watch it as a group. We'll watch it together this time because we watched Dawn of the Dead separately, recently. But yeah, we'll watch Day of the Dead together.
So coming up next time, we're definitely going to talk about Knight Riders.
Yes, the next video is Knight Rider, and I feel like we should not do a podcast version of it. I feel like we should actually sit down, write a script of this is how we feel about Knight Rider, because there's very few videos on Knight Rider out there. There's very few critiquing, analyzing that movie on YouTube. Like every horror guy's got an opinion on Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. But
yeah, and what's funny is the thing I immediately said with Knight Riders was this could have been George Romero's Mad Max, only he didn't go that direction. And seeing what he's done before, you kind of expect him to go that direction, and he doesn't. He essentially doubles down on his characters, which is something he's been pretty good at so far. So yeah, it was unexpected. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
we did not get the movie we were expecting to watch.
Yeah, we obviously watched it because we thought it was going to be a Halloween movie.
Yeah,
it's not a Halloween movie.
Oh God, we were knights on motorcycles, and George Romero directed it. This is going to be something else.
Yeah,
but it went a different way, and we'll leave it at that. We'll leave a little meat on that bone for next time. Do you want me to give the outro, or do you want to give the outro?
You can give the outro.
Okay, this has been the Kooky Spooky Chiller Theater Spooktacular Extravaganza events of the year.
Woo! So we're nearing the end of September, so we got to ramp it up, man. We got to kick it up into high gear when the spooky season hits, when October comes. Mm-hmm. So this is our little podcast, radio, whatever the heck you want to call it, and we will see you next time. What?
YouTube cast.
It's our UCast. It's our tube pod.
We'll be back. We'll be back next time.
What are we gonna talk about next time? Are we gonna jump right into Knight Rider?
I think we should.
Yeah,
I honestly think we should.
So we'll probably have a guest on with us.
We've got a little diamond in the rough.
Yes. So we'll invite Phil here with us, and he'll talk to us on the next Double Creature Feature Chiller Theater Halloween Spooktacular. Okay.
By breaking character.
By breaking character LARP, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess we make LARP videos too sometimes.